Good morning, y'all. So, ignore the background. I'm doing some late night cleaning, hence why my covers are off, my sheets are off for the most part. They are in the laundry. Lord, this is going to be a long night, honey. I'm going to be up to probably like 4 o'clock in the morning. But, anyways, I'm here to do things that I'm afraid of doing / experiencing during a relationship. So, easing up on the Freaky Friday, because I want to make my Fridays not only freaky but just just sex talks and education, like anything on the romantic side in general. So some weeks will be freaky and some weeks not so much. Some will be more on the educational side, learning experience, and that's what this one is going to be for me. Now I don't know if this is going to be uploaded later on today because I got the Temu video to also upload. I'm going live today. And I don't want to overwhelm y'all with too many videos. So, yeah, I don't know. This might darn technically be uploaded on Saturday just to have some spacing out between the videos. But, yeah, y'all, there is 10 things that I put down personally that I am afraid of with my first ever relationship. Yeah, y'all heard correctly. DivaWuan is 30 years old. I have gone on dates. I have gotten tons of offers as far as relationships and stuff, but it's never worked out. Whether the guy was not compatible, whether I was not darn committed to take the next step. There's been quite a few times where I felt, intimidated because the guy was out of my league. And y'all know, as a Capricorn, I don't want to feel like the housewife. And I'm kicking myself in the ass about that now. I should have darn finesse that shit, but no, I'm not. See, even I don't even have the type of personality to even darn try to be a sugar baby if I wanted to my detriment, may I add. But yeah, y'all, never been in a relationship. It's not from the lack of prospects. More so a combination of stuff that I've gone through in life. Being too busy, trying to chase the bag, trying to darn focus on business. I let darn love go by the wayside. Entertaining fuck niggas and other folks instead of darn love. We're now trying to change that up for our 30s. So as I tried to approach my first ever relationship, I had to darn take some self-reflecting and say, okay, Diva, with this being your first ever relationship, you need to darn go into this thinking what could possibly go wrong and how you can darn try to counteract these things. So here's the first one. And these are in no particular order, but okay, first thing I'm afraid of is the spouse considering themselves being a test dummy for the next relationship. Because like I said, this is my very first ever relationship. So what makes me nervous is I feel like in the back of my mind that, as I be trying to, because, I'm a very analytical, person. I would be too strategically trying to calculate how the relationship can be perfect as far as me not doing nothing, where the darn spouse might come off as, I might just be the darn test dummy or whatnot for the next relationship. And it's like, I don't want them to feel like that. Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm distracted by these darn 2 girls going at it late at night. Lord knows, Monet and Nicole going at it, child, on TTB. But anyways, yeah, I'm afraid like hell of darn my spouse feeling like they are just an experiment for the next relationship. Because when I go into the relationship, I'm thinking that's going to be my forever person. Now, chances realistically is highly unlikely. But, maybe it might be the Matthew and Tina. Well, minus the divorce and the cheating and the scandals and all that. Like, I won't, because I feel like I done been through my teens and 20s and all that. I've been around. It's not like it's my first person. It's more like my first commitment. And I believe that my first commitment can possibly have the potential to be my forever commitment. So I just got to, reassure them of that or whatnot. Maybe, and then that's definitely with focusing on the other things that I'm about to mention. Being too clingy and overnourishing to my spouse. I know y'all saying, well, how can that be a bad thing, Diva? Trust me, it be a bad thing. Like with me being, my first relationship, I would have a fear that I would darn gonna overcompensate by trying to be BB homemaker, trying to fit. And that shit's cute for the first 1 or 2 days, but it's like I don't think the spouse is gonna take. I think they would get irritated with you just staring, googly eyed at them all day or whatnot, because it comes off more so like an infatuation versus just genuine love. Like your actual spouse you with day to day is not just going to be looking at you like some sort of assessed prize or whatnot. But I feel like I would be over clingy. I would be darn going. Now, granted, it would not. I would still be business driven as well, and I'll be darn going split doing both. In one sense, I'll be on my independent woman. On another sense, I will also be simultaneously BB homemaker to a detriment. So I got to find a perfect balance on not being clingy, because I can darn see myself being the person that will always want to be hugged up on my darn spouse or whatnot. And that can be irritating depending on the person. So yeah, I got to work on that. Well, I don't know. Like I said, these are things that I'm just afraid of possibly happening. So, number 3 is not opening up enough and being too reserved. As a Capricorn, on the flip side, even though I will be nourishing, because it's in my nature as a Capricorn, I'm also reserved. So, I will be darn focusing on, caring for them. But anything goes wrong with me, I tend to have a poker face for the most part. Although with the hormones, it can be flipped to a certain extent. So it's like 1 or 2 things can happen. Either I would be too reserved and my spouse feels like that they can't really communicate with me enough. Or I will probably feel like breaking down to them overly so, because it's like I'm so reserved in holding off my feelings with everybody else that the spouse hears everything that nobody else has, which typically I think spouses are, yeah, for people who out there that got relationships, y'all tell me this, normally y'all spouses normally darn hear stuff that most of your folks don't hear anyways, like your friends, your family, your other family members or anything like that. But still, it's like I don't think the spouse needs to darn be your darn release. Like, so to prevent that from happening, therapy is key. I would definitely darn get me a psychologist or a psychiatrist, whichever one, to make sure I'm not overburdened. It's because y'all know I got a lot of trauma, y'all. Between medical crises, between stuff that I have not even told y'all. Like my story can make for a Lifetime movie. I mean, just to give y'all a little tidbit of what I haven't told y'all, there was a time during the time that I was battling cancer where I was almost kidnapped, and well, actually, there's been a couple. See, there's a complexity to that. Like, there was a couple of darn stalker attempts going on around that same time frame. But then there was somebody within the family that was quite excessive to the point of want to kidnap and torture me as well. And once again, I care not to go too deep into that on this, because it gets very dark. The person ended up doing, committing mass murder and everything else to quite a few other people. And then they was planning on saving me for last or whatnots because of their sick obsession in their minds. So that is just one of very few things that I have had to speak with therapists in the past with, that has also contributed in a lot of ways to my agoraphobia, which kept me isolated for about a good 10 years of my life. So just being at the top, just the tip of the iceberg, and my life gets even more darker and darker. I feel like the average spouse might not be prepared to hear that as far as darn on pillow talk is concerned. So I'm afraid of, opening up a little bit too much. Oh Lord, especially if I, yeah, and oh yeah, I hate to go there with the astrology, the astrology signs, but oh, if it's an emotional sign, I would hate to darn on put that burden on them, like, ooh. So I will feel like I would be holding that in, and then they can sense I'm holding it in, and then they will be inquiring it, but I would be darn on, not, withholding that for their own. Because once again, I'm naturally altruistic. I would be thinking about their well-being, even to my detriment or whatnot. So in turn, my spouse will feel like, they cannot properly communicate with me and I'm being secretive, when in my mind, I'm processing it like, no, I trust me, I can barely deal with this doggone shit. I lived through it and I care not to doggone go down memory lane. And just the doggone thought of telling you can doggone possibly be overwhelming. Because like I said, it makes for a doggone quite the tragic Lifetime movie, y'all. Moving on. Let me see. Addressing step parents. Like, if it was to get serious to like engagement, I don't know if I could ever bring myself to call somebody mom or dad or whatnot. It's like even step parent, because y'all know I didn't have that. Like my stepfather, I mean, damn, I'm talking about stepfather. Yeah, well, I guess he could have been stepfather-ish. He was in my life for 17 years. He really wasn't a father in the sense of the word. My egg donor hasn't been like a mother since the age of 10. My biological father, have not had any contact with him, even though he lives in the same city that I'm in, and he owns numerous properties around me that he has to check on at some point in time. Somehow he never makes it his way over here. Even though you got more than enough money to gonna drive yourself over here and knock on the door. So, yeah, with all of that, I've never I've pretty much had to be independent from a very young age. Even though I was partially raised by my grandmother dealt with substance abuse issues as well, in addition to on epilepsy. So, epilepsy, substance abuse, and, massive case of domestic violence. So pretty much I had to raise myself from the age of 12 onward. So yeah, I can't see myself calling anybody mother or father like that. I don't know, that like right now I just can't see myself being, I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't be close to my spouse nor their parents, because the Lord knows I do not wish to have no wicked stepmother or anything like that. Like I would want a loving relationship, but I can still see myself call them by their surnames as opposed to mother or father. Would that be bad for me to do that? And, would the spouse have the right to be pissed off if I'm engaged and I'm unwilling to address them as mother or father? Like, would I be wrong for that, given my, circumstance? So the next thing is as far as my job, as far as my career. Now, y'all know DivaWuan has plenty of different jobs, ranging from customer service, retail, translations, tech support. Most recently working down at the McAllisters at the Fayetteville State University. But my main career, my passion is being a medical esthetician, to the point where I am making plans on going back to school and getting my final certifications to solidify my medical esthetician status. Currently, I am licensed and certified to do chemical peels, microdermabrasion, microcurrent, LED therapy, high frequency treatments, non-surgical butt lift, body sculpting services. But what I'm not skilled at is laser hair removal, laser body resurfacing, Botox injections, lip fillers. I do not know none of those stuff. Dermaplaning, I do not know none of that. So I'm planning on going back to school later on this year to get those certifications underneath my belt. Upon all of that, I also do body waxing. Both, clients with a vagina and clients with a penis. So I would be mad that, my spouse might be there. I mean, I wouldn't be mad, but I would think that they would be mad and upset, and I would be irritated that they might darn gonna give me the ultimatum that I can't do certain services, such as like intimate waxing or anything like that. And it's like, I don't know how I would feel about that. Because in one sense, I can understand a guy feeling some type of way about their girl holding another man's, piece or whatnot. But it's like, I would say, like, think of me as the doctor or whatnot. Like, would it be awkward if I was like a urologist? Like, would you tell me to quit my career field if I was a urologist and I dealt with males' private areas all the time? If I was a gastroenterologist and I, had to see people's, behinds all day in that sense, would you tell me to change career fields? Would you be bold enough to tell me to change career fields up? So I feel like if you wouldn't say that to a gastroenterologist, you would not say that to an OBGYN, you would not say that to a gynecologist, why say that to an esthetician? Now, granted, we're not nurses nor doctors, but we do transform people's darn on skins. We are the first point of darn on contact, and possibly and hopefully the final point of contact, because in most cases we do not want to get you over to the dermatologist or whatnot. So if we can prevent you from having to get on topical steroids and medications and stuff, and save you from the high insurance costs and the co-pays, we would love to darn on prevent that at affordable costs. So with that being said, we do a variety. So at least I do. I do full body waxing, like I said, on both clients with a vagina and or clients who have a penis. So yeah, I don't know if I can darn one. Now, depending on when my business grows, because I can see myself having employees underneath me, I can ease up on doing like the intimate services. I can transition out of doing the intimate services, but if I'm still in my building phase, I can't see myself doing that. And I don't think my spouse will have the right to tell me not to do any of those services at all. Let me see. Another thing I would be afraid of is going into a depression over minor arguments, because it's like, nobody's perfect, babe. Babe, not even me. Like, even with me being open and honest with y'all, sharing my life for over 11 years, I still have my days, and there's still stuff that, y'all will probably never know about me that my spouse would know about me. And I would be afraid, like, when we get into petty arguments and stuff, because, that it comes with the territory. Ain't nobody's going to be just happy with their spouse every single day. It might be something as simple as, they forgot to put the darn on toilet seat down or something like that. Now, granted, I guess that wouldn't really be an issue. Well, actually, it would be, because y'all know girl got Crohn's disease. Sometimes I go to the bathroom regularly. So, as far as, pee-wise, obviously, it wouldn't necessarily be an issue as far as the sitting down is concerned, if you know what I mean. But anyways, yeah, I would be afraid of, like, taking minor arguments into darn going, over, what's the word I'm looking for? I would darn gonna be overstating the impact of the argument. The argument might be minor, but I might darn gonna take it to heart, and I darn gonna go, once again, that's why the therapy is going to darn gonna be my best friend for situations like this. The darn gonna help ease me into this darn gone first ever relationship. And I also got y'all to lean on as well to help me through, because I know I got some darn gone folks out there that watch me that have been in long, healthy relationships. I would definitely be leaning on y'all when arguments come, because y'all know a girl also suffers from clinical depression, and it's like, ooh, I don't want to be that doggone person where, you know, my spouse might say something that's minor and I just break down in tears. Like, I don't want to be that doggone type of girlfriend. So, oh, another thing, with me doggone craving so much of having a relationship, I would feel like, ugh, I might be slighted if my love is not equally reciprocated. Now, granted, I know that's a huge ask to a certain extent for it to be massively equal, because it's like 9 times out of 10, since I am older and I do not date younger people like that. Like, the youngest I would date is 25 because I'm 30. It's like 9 times out of 10, whoever I get with is going to more likely have been in at least a couple of relationships themselves. It would be probably rare for me to get with somebody else that has never been in a relationship. And we both are learning this out together, whatnot. You know, that should have happened. You know, that experimental phase should have happened in my early 20s, but unfortunately I was too busy, you know, on my grind in my 20s, and now I'm, you know, trying to do this shit in my 30s. So, yeah, I would feel like I would be, you know, trying to give my all, and I might not feel like that's reciprocated enough. Because once again, it could be as simple as with me darn on going into this as my first, and I'm probably they 5th or 6th. Hopefully they last. But, you know, they might darn going not do stuff as romantically day to day, which they not obligated to do so. Like, I think, you know, a person shouldn't have to be on 10 as far as romance and stuff every single day. And I need to darn on, you know that. And, you know, and once again, it's better said than done. I could say this all day long, but I still feel like I might myself might end up slipping into experiencing a situation like that where I will feel like the other person doesn't love me as much as I love them. So that's one thing I am afraid of. Once again, I will be leaning on y'all very heavy to get me through this shit. Another thing I'm afraid of experiencing is being cheated on. I don't necessarily know how I would darn go if I was to be cheated on. Yeah, I might. Yeah, it might be best if you darn break. It might be best if you break up with me over the phone if the reason that you're breaking up with me is due to cheating. Because I probably go a little bit psycho. Because it's like, because y'all know I'm immune compromised. So the possibility of exposing somebody who's already immune compromised to a STD, that is going to be doggone very irritating to me. And going to have me irritated. The fact that is a constant lie by omission, that you're sleeping with somebody and you didn't darn gonna tell me. Oh, and then don't darn gonna break up with me and then get with the person that you're sleeping with, because then that's gonna really make me feel some type of way, because it's like, oh, so you've been with this person for these months and you wanted to darn gonna be with them all alone, and yet you darn gonna strung me along. Oh, yeah, I don't know how I would darn gonna feel with that. So hopefully, you know that, and I don't even got no answer to that. I don't even think therapy would darn gonna you know, suffice what I would darn be liable to do. So let's just hope that doesn't happen. I would just say, if a person falls out of love with me, let's go to therapy first and see if we can resolve it. If you catch feelings for like a friend or somebody else or a past person, I'd rather they come up to me before trying to initiate with somebody else. Because it's like, if you make the steps to tell me beforehand, I would still be upset. I ain't going to say that I won't break down in tears and try to darn gonna plead my case or whatnot, but at least I won't be pissed off. Because at least I can say, okay, they was honest enough to come to me first and darn going to tell me this is why they leaving me for their ex. Oh, that would be trash. Or might be leaving me for this person or whatnot. And then y'all know, with me being who I am, this is where the therapy comes in. Because it's like, if I'm with a darn gone guy, and let's say if they're pansexual. I will. It's like I don't know how I will process if they leave me for a cisgender woman and have children. Like, you know, we gonna have to have those conversations early on, as far as like whether they want kids or not, this, that, and the third. Because it's like if we don't have those types of conversations, and then they secretly want children, and I've done a claim to terms I can do with just being an auntie. But I might be a mother or whatnot. It's like it depends on how far the relationship's in. Like if it's husband or wife, you never know. Whoever my spouse is, if we're like, you know, engaged or married, preferably married, I might entertain being a mother of sorts. And I say of sorts because like I said, I don't know what do y'all think DivaWuan would be a good mother? I don't. I think I'd just make for a better auntie or whatnot. So I'd be too damn nervous. That's a whole nother video within itself. Like, I don't know, like getting up late at night changing diapers, and I don't know if I can do that. I see, like this is gonna sound fucked up, but if I have children, I have to be rich. And to the point where I would have nannies around the clock. Now, with that being said, I won't be the type that won't ever get to the point where I don't have no communication with the baby or whatnot. So I still hold my baby or whatnot. But I don't necessarily know about getting up 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Like, that's what the nanny would be for. Like, we'll have a live-in nanny or whatnot. So I take care of the baby through the day because, you know, I will still be working. I still be darn on my career path and everything else. Because like I said, I refuse to be a housewife. I refuse to just be kept and darn stuck in the house. Even if I'm darn dating somebody that's a multi-millionaire. I would have them darn fund my business, and I would be darn scaling up to get to their level of income. And then that brings me to the last thing, making too much or too little money compared to my spouse. Now, I don't think it will be necessarily a problem if I'm the dominant person, because for y'all that don't know, DivaWuan is open to a variety. Like, I am somebody who's, you know, I don't mind dating femboys nor masculine men. So if I'm dating somebody that's equally or more femme than me, I don't necessarily mind. You know, I'm about to put some heterosexual norms on this. I know it's weird, right? But yeah, I wouldn't mind necessarily me making substantially more money and me bringing in everything, this, that, and the third. Or hell, even for a masculine guy, as long as they take care of like the male stuff around the house, like, you know, what is something masculine? Like, well, shit, no. I was about to say like the plumbing and shit like that, but it's like that's what we got money for, where we hire plumb. I'm trying to think what is something like taking out the trash and stuff like that. Like the male can do that. What else? If we don't hire somebody to do it, they can darn mow the lawns and, you know, weed eat and, you know, do all that stuff. Do all the heavy lifting in the house, all of this, that, and the third. I don't think I would necessarily mind if I'm the one making more money. But I would feel some type of way. And I don't necessarily know if my spouse will feel some type of way or whatnot. But I can't see myself making significantly less than my spouse. The only exception I'm going to give myself is if my spouse is, you know, shout out to my husbands in my head, honey. If it's like Odell Beckham, yeah, that's the only way I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, I can be a millionaire and still have substantially less money. I'm not going to get up to that level of income earning. Nor do I think I even want to, unless my skincare business just blows up and becomes freaking phenomenal. It's going to be successful, but I don't know to the point of me having like $90 million net worth successful. And hell, I think Dargon Odell now is worth like $100 million if I'm not mistaken. So, ooh. Now, as far as my other husband, yeah, DivaWuan got multiple husbands until somebody actually officially locks me down. Um, August Alsina, he's worth like $5 million. I can see myself getting to a $5 million net worth or whatnot. I can even see myself getting up to like $10 million net worth. So with that being said, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily mind being a person to provide more or whatnots in a relationship, but I definitely would not be content with darn going earning less. And I hope my spouse would not feel some type of way, and because that's what has denied me other relationships in the past, was because of the fact that I've had people approach me, and I felt like it's no way in the hell. And granted that now thinking about it, it's like, well, they looked at my profile, they automatically knew that obviously I was not matching them in the income department or whatnots, and they still doggone reached out to me and wanted to doggone date me or whatnots. But I felt like I could not compete at the time. I was like, this person doggone has these businesses or whatnots. This person makes well over borderline $1 million a year. I got approached by somebody who makes, actually this is not the first person, because there was one person that is like this high level. Now that's a whole story time within itself. He's significantly older than me as well. Ooh, what, at second thought there was a couple. Okay, DivaWuan has lived, y'all. So there was one person who was this head executive marketer who made, you know, upper six figures. Then there was this person who was an executive at this doggone corporate company that I cannot even name, who makes upper six figures. And when I say upper six figures, I'm talking like $600,000-$700,000. And then there was this one dude who was black, because the first two that I just mentioned were white. Yeah, DivaWuan is down with the swirl, y'all. DivaWuan, like I said, I'm open to everything now. I'm open to, you know, dating a fellow trans woman. I'm open to, you know, feminine gay men, butch queens, and trade or whatnot. So I'm open to a variety. So with that being said, when it came to the black dude, he was the trade for all intents and purposes, but he ain't the toxic trade. He's the trade where, if you know, if you asked him, if he was pansexual, he would tell you yes, or bisexual, he would tell you yes. But the problem that I had was the fact that, you know, I felt like I could not compare. And even though he was perfect in every way, I mean, the body sculpted, doggone, the hair, the smile, he had the houses that were paid off, he had the multiple cars, he had the doggone cars that I can't even name. The only one I could name was the Lamborghini that was in the doggone yard, honey. He had like a doggone 4-car garage, 3-story doggone mansion that's like 10,000 plus square feet, and all of that. And he wanted to date little old country me from Fayetteville, North Carolina, who at the time was, you know, working at Amazon, only making $15 an hour. Now, granted, doggone Amazon was giving me, you know, always about 40 hours a week. But I was like, what the hell is $600 a week to somebody who makes like shit? Because I think he said his income for that year was like right shy of $1 million. It was 900 some odd $1,000. We just going to round down and say 900. So 900,000 divided by 52 weeks in a year. That is $17,000 in a doggone freaking week, compared to my $600 a week. So 17,000. Oh shoot! Come on, clear a doggone calculator. See, my calculator don't even want to doggone break this news to me, y'all. Let me see. 17,000 divided by 600. My calculator's acting wonky, y'all. My calculator is sparing me the embarrassment of how much more money this person was making over 28 times what I doggone make. And it's nothing realistic. Like, I could go to school and get a master's degree, and I would still not be matching up with him financially. Like, I would have no choice but to be pushing my business to even match up with him. And now, like I said, I have the ability to get up to that level, but honey, it's definitely not going to be by traditional means. But at the time, there was definitely no pathway for me to get the matching up to anywhere close to that level. Not even $100,000. Now, I might have darn gone would have felt like, okay, I could still pursue this a little bit if I was still at least making six figures, because I would be like, okay, we both in the six-figure club. Now, granted, I'm making $100,000 a year, and you're making like $900,000 a year, and you're projecting that within the next 2-3 years, you're going to be earning multi-million-dollar annual incomes because you already projected your stuff through. Because this person had, Forex, he was into all of that, Bitcoin and all of that. He had his hands in a lot of stocks. I think he even said that he was about to purchase a franchise. I can't think of what the franchise was. It wasn't no standard franchise. It wasn't like a McDonald's or something like that. But it was a major name, because I remember Google searching it, and it was it was a restaurant of sorts that had multiple locations. I can't think of the name though right now. It's slipping me. But I definitely know what it was. Not in North Carolina. Ugh. But needless to hear, hell, I don't even know why I'm thinking, because, honey, the person is long gone at this point. All because I did not want to be the person making less money. So this go round, I feel like when I go on dates with the folks that I'm going on dates with this year, we got to have these conversations up front. I will be approaching stuff more realistically this go round. Like, obviously, if I'm dating a millionaire, I'm not going to hold myself to an unrealistic standard. I would just know that, obviously, I would not be a housewife in the sense of just being content. But I should not stifle myself on love, because if everything else is there compatibility-wise, because everything was essentially there with this dude. It's like he was well-educated, but also down to earth. He darn going like the Yu-Gi-Oh! He was still a gamer, Mortal Kombat, and all of that. He was somebody that is a hugger. Like, he likes to darn on just, sit, Netflix and chill, literally Netflix and chill without the need to do. Although, DivaWuan did get some pictures of what that would have led up to. Child, when I tell y'all, I kick myself now. Because he was literally, the darn D was darn right. He had sculpted darn washboard caramel abs. DivaWuan done. See, I done fucked up so many possibly good relationships, all because of insecurities, depression, wanting to feel like I should already be there at the pinnacle of success before, engaging in any sort of relationship. Now I'm throwing most of that out the window within reason. Now, we still going to get, to our level of success, but we're not going to allow that to stifle us from at least pursuing love along the way. In regards to opening up more, like I said, I am going to make it a point to, have me and my spouse in therapy, where we can have open communications with each other. Because as a Capricorn, I do recognize that is one of my character flaws, of holding stuff in. And then, like I said, if I'm dating somebody that's a very emotional sign, that can darn gonna be a little bit overwhelming to them. Also, like I said, try to avoid being over clingy and nourishing and all of that. Just know when the day comes, y'all, I will still be reaching out to y'all to darn gonna ask for a whole lot of advice. Hopefully y'all will be there for your girl. But that is it, y'all. Those are my top 10 things that I am afraid of experiencing or doing in my first ever relationship. So for all my folks out there that have gone through relationships, that can give DivaWuan some more insight, some advice, I definitely would love it. Leave it down in the description box below. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all soon with more videos. Good night. Mwah.